There's a revolution quietly happening in offices all over the world. But it's not the kind that comes from a big CEO announcement. It's more of a quiet invasion, one that's snuck into our daily grind, not from the top down, but from the bottom up. Okay, let's get into it. We are talking about the AI takeover of your workday. And when I say takeover, I am not kidding. A recent Stanford study found that 43%, that's nearly half, of US knowledge workers are now using AI. This isn't some niche tool for tech nerds anymore. It has gone completely mainstream, and it happened fast. And here's the wildest part, how it all happened. See, most company software follows this super predictable path, right? Long rollouts, expensive contracts, mandatory training sessions. Well, ChatGPT just blew that whole model up. People started using it at home, realized how powerful it was, and, well, they just brought it to work. It spread like wildfire from the ground up because individuals, people just like you, found it was genuinely useful. All right, first up, AI's workplace invasion. We're going to look at how a simple consumer app became an absolute giant in the business world, seemingly overnight. And when we say overnight, we kind of mean it. I mean, look at this. It launches in late 2022, and boom, just a few months later, it hits 100 million weekly users. Fast forward to today, and that number has skyrocketed past 700 million. That kind of growth is it's almost unheard of. It's put it in the same league as the most visited websites on the entire planet. And this really proves it's not just a fad, right? AI is becoming this deeply ingrained habit at work. More than half of people who use it are on it at least 4 days a week, and the number of people using it daily has doubled in just the last year. And the results? They're real. A Harvard study found people produced 40% higher quality work. Another report showed over half of them are saving more than 3 hours every single week. That's real time back in your day. So, we know this wave is huge. But who exactly is riding it? Let's dive into that. Section 2. Who is using ChatGPT? Let's look at the demographics behind this whole thing. Okay, so a really clear pattern pops up when you look at age, and it's probably not going to surprise you. Just like with other tech that started at home and came to the office, younger employees are totally leading the charge. Workers between 18 and 29 are more than twice as likely to be using ChatGPT at work compared to folks over 50. Now, adoption is growing for older workers too, but it's the younger generation that's really diving in headfirst. There's also this super strong link to education. Basically, the more school you've had, the more likely you are to use it. Look at this. Nearly half of all workers with postgraduate degrees are on it. This pretty much confirms that, for now at least, its biggest home is in those really knowledge-heavy jobs. Okay, so we've covered the who. Now let's talk about the where. Section 3. Which industries are leading? Where is this AI tide rising the fastest? So, no big shocker here, information technology is leading the pack, with 27% of all business users. That makes total sense, right? The tool is amazing at coding and analysis. Professional and technical services are right behind. But check out number 3, manufacturing. Now that's interesting. It points to a much bigger shift where AI is being used for everything from automating processes to optimizing supply chains. But it's not happening everywhere at the same speed. Healthcare is a really fascinating case. It's a huge industry, swimming in data, but its adoption is way slower. And as this quote points out, it's probably because of things like super strict privacy rules and compliance hurdles. Still, there is growth in some specific areas, so it's definitely an industry to keep an eye on. So this brings us to the most practical question of all. What are people actually doing with this thing? What does using AI look like when you're at your desk on a random Tuesday? So in these early days, it seems like most of the use cases fall into 4 main buckets, or pillars: writing, research, programming, and analysis. When you put them all together, these 4 things account for almost everything people are using with ChatGPT to get real work done. It just highlights how flexible this tool really is. So let's make this real. Imagine you're on a marketing team. For you, AI is basically a tool to give your creativity a massive boost. For example, you might type in a prompt just like this one. Instead of just staring at a blank screen, you instantly get 5 totally different ideas to kickstart your whole campaign. See, this isn't about replacing the marketer. It's about being a partner in that creative process. It turns hours of brainstorming into just a few minutes. But here's the thing. Maybe the biggest surprise in all the data is who is doing the technical work now. AI is basically making skills that used to be super specialized available to, well, everyone. Get this, design teams are now using it for programming prototypes. Project managers are weaving coding into their daily workflows. Even marketing and HR teams are getting in on it. AI is basically acting like a universal translator, letting people without formal coding training actually execute technical tasks and bring their ideas to life in totally new ways. It's incredible. So, where is all of this going? Let's talk about the future. Section 4, the future of your job. We're going to explore how AI is changing from just a simple tool into something way, way more fundamental. I want you to think about it like this. ChatGPT is becoming less like just another app on your computer and more like the operating system for your entire job. It's the shared layer where problems get solved, decisions get made, and whole projects get managed. For a ton of tasks, it's the new starting point. And the impact of this new operating system is huge. One experiment found that giving workers access to AI cut the time they spent on email by 31%. Just think about that for a second. That's hours every single week that you get back from one of the most draining parts of any job. And this really gets to the heart of it all. This isn't just about being more productive. It's about making work, well, more enjoyable. By automating all that tedious, busy work, AI frees us up to focus on the strategic, the creative, the stuff that's actually satisfying about our jobs. Ultimately, this is the big shift we're seeing. As AI gets better and better at handling the how, how to write the code, how to draft that email, how to analyze the spreadsheet, we get to focus on the what and the why. What problem are we actually trying to solve here, and why does it even matter? It is a massive change, and it leaves all of us with one really big question. What will you do with that new freedom?